Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Stephanie. This is the week 24 and 25 weekly wrap up. So June 11th through June 24th. Alrighty, so it seems to be a hit for me to do 2 weeks at a time when it comes to these weekly wrap-ups, especially since I was in kind of a reading funk, I guess you could call it. Although these last 2 weeks I have been reading my butt off, but that could be because I haven't been at work. We were on a 2-week break, so the kids were doing their last week of school, and then we had like a week of training some new water safety instructors and some housekeeping, things like that. And then we go back to work this next coming week. So that actually gave me a little more time to really kind of not necessarily sit with the books, but not have to read like just at nighttime or things like that. I was able to read during the day. Although with the kids being out of school and things like that, that means kiddo started his summer job. He also started his summer swim schedule, which means, woof, we are getting up at like 4:30 in the morning, every single day for swim practice. And then I will go into work and he will either be home for the day or he will go into work himself as a lifeguard a little bit later on during the day. So we are a busy, busy family and very, very tired. These days and hours are really kicking our butts. So let's get into the books that I read June the 11th through June the 18th, which is week 24. The first book that I finished that week was Huddle with Me Tonight, which is New York Sabres #1 by Farrah Rochon. This is a sports romance. I'm giving it 4.25 stars, giving it 3 Sting fans. Had it as an audiobook thanks to my Hoopla and my library, which I'm super excited about. This is a Black author. This is a Black love story. We have Paige, who is a entertainment journalist and like book reviewer. And then we have Torin, who is a possibly retiring football player that also has some medical issues that could speed up his retirement. Well, he ends up writing a cookbook and Paige ends up reviewing it and kind of smashing, like kind of pulls it apart, destroys it. But in the end, the two of them are this rival situation because Torin ends up saying something online that he probably shouldn't have said. And they start this kind of rivalry online, in blogs and comments and things like that. And then the two of them are on a cooking show together where they end up getting a little bit closer, things like that. So it was a good book overall. It was a previously released on the Kamani line, I believe it is, through Harlequin. So the spice is there, but it doesn't come in until a little bit later. I also believe that this was maybe possibly re-edited before Farrah released it again from the Kamani line, but I'm not exactly sure. But I did enjoy it. I look forward to reading more of this series because I did not know Farrah had written this series, and now that I have found it, I'm super excited to finish up the series. The next book that I finished was Royally in Trouble by Megan Quinn. This is a royalty romance suspense. Has a little bit of comedy in there. I'm giving this one 3.5 stars, and it hurts my heart to do that. But there is quite a bit of spice, so I'm giving it 4 Steam fans. I had this as an ARC, but found myself really kind of struggling to read it. If you looked at my past reviews, you know that it had been on my list of working through for quite some time. Like I said, I got it as an ARC, but then I waited for the audiobook to come out, which I kind of glad that I did, because listening to them go back and forth was better than trying to read their back and forth. But it still gave off very much Lily and Keller, why do we have this story? This is them planning their wedding, but then something ends up happening and it throws it into a suspense sort of realm. But at the same time, all they had to do was freaking open their mouths and talk to each other. which really kind of annoyed me. And miscommunication isn't something that usually gives me the ick, but in this book, I was just like, I wish the two of you would just fucking talk to each other. Just fucking talk. Like, seriously. It actually got kind of annoying. So the next book that I finished was The Night Agent by Matthew Quick. This is a spy thriller, and I'm giving it 2 stars, giving it no steam fans. I didn't find anything steamy about it whatsoever, even though there is supposedly a romance in it. I listened to it as an audiobook, and I read it because I wanted to watch the television show. Yeah, I found the book to be quite boring. I have not watched the show yet, but when I do, I'll let you guys know if it compares. The reviews that I saw say that the show was better laid out, what have you. It just seemed really dry to me, really dry and really boring. The next book that I finished that week was Relevant Reign, which is Royal Reflections number 4 by Aleatha Romig. This is a royalty romantic suspense, and it's the last book in the series that gives us a conclusion, giving it 5 stars. Did not find a single thing wrong with it. Edge of my seat the entire time. Giving it 3 steam fans. Had it as an arc. It has been released, so go and read it. It is available on Kindle Unlimited, so you can go read the entire series there. Get hooked on it because it is so good. So we are still following Princess Lucille and Prince Roman's journey through all of the twists and turns that Aleatha has, made us go through, the conspiracies and the problems that are going on within the kingdom. I found myself really, actually not like overly caring, but not like falling in love with a character that I disliked, but really actually having some empathy and heart for a character that in the other 3 books I had ill will for. I was like, I don't like you. I don't like you as a character, and what happens to you type thing. But there was a little bit of a twist that ends up happening, and it really kind of touched my heart. I was like, oh, yes. So, not to give any spoilers or anything like that. That's all I'm going to say about that. I loved this ending. Had me on the edge of my seat the entire time. Can't wait to re-listen to it as an audiobook, because like I said, I read it as an arc before the audiobook came out. But yes, I would love if some side stories, if Molavia was revisited at some point for like maybe just even a little novella, just a little check-in. I would love it. Love it. The next book that I finished was Lotus Flower Bomb, which is The Moguls number 2 by Goree-Bell. This is a dark contemporary. Giving it 4.25 stars, giving it 4 steam fans. Had it as an ebook through KU. This is a Black author. This follows Flower and Akuro. I hope I am saying that right. Flower is the sister to music moguls that we have already met, and she goes to Japan. I believe it's Japan. Yes, Japan, to kind of just step away from the family, things like that. She's there with her friends. She's having a great time, and she ends up meeting Akuro, and he is dark. He has some dark tendencies, and the man is broody, and his family is up there in the power structure. He is the head of his family, and now I read this one specifically because I have been reading Kenya's Kindle Vella book, and like the first couple pages of it, it says that you need to read this book in order to kind of go on with the Vella. And I was like, okay, let me backtrack and get into this. And I have loved every single moment. I'm chomping at the bit to know more about this couple. I love them in their book, and I am loving them in their Kindle Vella. Then the final book that I read for week 24 was Queenie by Candice. Candice. Williams. This is a women's fiction book. It's British. I DNF'd it at 43%. I'm giving it 2 stars. Giving it 3 steam fans because there are quite a few steamy moments in it. But that is because Queenie gets dumped, I guess. I think. Because of the shift of the book and the way that the book is written, I could not tell when she was with her ex and when she wasn't with her ex, how everything was playing off of each other. But homegirl, just if I think about it correctly, or if the way that I'm thinking is correctly, she breaks up with her guy, or they break up, he dumps her or something or another, kicks her out of her house, makes her go get her own flat, and then she just goes on a sexcapade. That's how she deals with it. She's sleeping with this guy. She's sleeping with that guy. She's sleeping with this guy. And then the whole time, she's like, am I pregnant? Am I not pregnant? Do I have an STD? Do I not have an STD? She's going in and out of the clinic and just, I was like, are you serious right now? Really? No. 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 Mm-mm. And then there was some, like, there's talk about racism in the UK and, what else? Mental illness, emotional abuse. I think that's all. But I didn't like it. I didn't like it. And it was for book club. And I didn't even attend that book club because I did not want to bring them down on how horrible I thought that book was. So for the week of, the 25th week, June the 18th through the 24th, I started off by finishing Until I Get You by Contreras. This is a dark sports romance. Giving it 4.5 stars, giving it 3.5 steam fans. Had this as an audiobook through KU. This is a, there are content warnings for stalking, for suicidal ideology, for college, for abuse, for in therapy not recurring, oh my goodness, recollection, oh my goodness, recollection, in therapy recollection of sexual assault. So go into this with those warnings. I do believe Claire gives a author's note and trigger warnings in the beginning of the page, in the beginning of the book. So be wary of that. So we have Lachlan, who is this closed off hockey player, and he goes to parties and things like that, but it's all about hockey. He goes there because he needs to be seen with his team and he wants to have that team camaraderie, but he is the hot shit on campus. He is the top hockey player. Then we have Layla, who is a soccer player who did amazing things, but then she has some losses in her life and she stops playing soccer, but she still has her group of friends that, you know, she hangs out with. And Lachlan ends up taking to her. There is some trauma bonding that ends up happening, but at the same time, the mental health aspects are talked about and are handled. And the two of them have this relationship while they're in college, but then something ends up happening where Layla thinks that the best thing for them to do is to break apart and to go their separate ways. Well, Lachlan doesn't have any say in this at all, and he's quite upset about it. Quite upset about it. So you have part 1, which is their falling in love, their love story, and then the second part is them getting back together. But there's also some anger and tension that needs to be worked through. And I think Claire did an amazing job of working through it, pulling at the heartstrings. And I really enjoyed this book. I really enjoyed this book. So yeah. The next book that I finished was Unplanned by Natalie K. Martin. This was a Kindle first pick or first read, what have you. I had gotten it a while ago, so I was like, oh, let me try this out. This is a women's fiction book. Don't let nobody try and tell you that this is a romance or that it's something that is not. It's a women's fiction book. I'm giving it 3 stars, giving it 1 Steam fan. Had it as an ebook through KU. This is a Black author. The KU version does have the audio, I believe, connected to it, so you can listen to it. And the content warning is for pregnancy. So this is more of a pregnancy book. We have Zoe, who is with Sam in Australia. However, when she finds out she's pregnant, Sam is like, yeah, no, not here for that. So Zoe moves back to the UK where her mother is, moves in with her mom, and then she has some friends that really kind of help her out. And there's Jude, who is her best friend's brother, and the two of them become friends, and you get to see throughout her pregnancy the different things that she ends up going through. So if a book about pregnancy is not your thing, then you would probably want to refrain from this. I did enjoy that. I wish that it had leaned more into the fact that, you know, she was going through this journey of pregnancy, and that's just what the book was about, not how she was going to deal with Sam, and how she kept like, Zoe kept trying to connect with Sam. And I was like, he don't want you. You moved to a different continent. Just let that man go. Move on with your life. Let me have this journey with you and how you're dealing with your pregnancy, instead of trying to deal with you and how you're dealing with that man that doesn't want you. So that was like my criticism there. The next book that I finished was Ox, the Asshole Club, number 5 by Blue Saffire. This is a dark romance, giving it 4.5 stars, giving it 3 Steam fans. Had this as an ebook through KU. This is a Black author. This is an interracial romance. So this took me a little bit to really connect everything. I have been reading the Asshole Club series for a little while now. The first couple books are written by different people, but the last this book, and I think the last book is going to be written by Blue Saffire. And one of the other books is written by Blue Saffire as well. And I had, because there are so many names, people are using nicknames throughout this book and using real names throughout this book. There was a lot of people that I was like, where is this connection? Who are we actually talking about? How is this connected to the stories and things like that? It's all like laid out at the end, but it took a little bit too long for me to put all those things together. And I was just like, ah! It was kind of driving me crazy, because I'm like, I know I should know this person and I should know this character, but which book do I need to remember in order to know what's going on? So we have Anthony, or Ox, who is the enforcer for Pitt and Pitt's family. Well, we meet Alexis and Anthony. That's how we meet them, Alexis and Anthony. They have gotten married, they are young, and they witness the car accident that Pitt, Calyx, Tack, and Skittles are all in the previous books. So I'm like, okay, now Alexis actually has a connection with some other people from those books. They're actual family members and their cousins and things like that. So I was like, oh, okay. But we're using actual names or nicknames that aren't the nicknames that I know. And I was like, but wait, who is this? How is this? Why are we connecting? And same with Anthony, or Ox. Sometimes we're using the name Ox, and sometimes we're using the name Anthony, and we're dealing with the two of them. There is a content warning for secret pregnancy, but this is about first love, or not secret pregnancy, but secret baby altogether. But this is mostly about first love and not letting go of that love, but at the same time feeling like you're wronged for something that has happened, but not. You know, it's wild. But I still loved it. I am really looking forward to the last book to see how everything is wrapped up. Then the final book that I finished last week was The Player Hater, Accidentally in Love by Sara. No, book number 1 by Sara Nye. This is supposed to be a sports romantic comedy, and I found it to be very boring. I DNF this at 67%. Yes, 67% I DNF this book, because our main female character, Juliet, was insufferable. Fucking-sufferable. I'm giving it 2 stars, giving it 2 Steam fans. Listen to this as an audiobook. Also pulled it out from KU. This is a forced proximity, and it was just damn boring to me. We have Juliet, who goes as a third wheel with her friend to kind of stay with her on this trip that her boyfriend is taking her on. Well, that boyfriend also invites his friend named Davis, and then they end up putting them in the same like little cabin RV thing, and that's how they have to stay together. And Juliet just complained the whole entire time. She's like, I didn't bring the right clothing, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, and this is I wasn't expecting this, and blah blah blah. And I just found it insufferable, and I was just like, I can't. And I'm pretty sure that 67% went in one ear and out the other because I fell asleep on it. So that's how that ended up happening. So what am I currently reading? I am currently reading The Duchess Effect by Tracey Livesay. This is an arc that I received. I'm also reading Not So Lucky by Trilina Pucci. This is another arc that I received. I will be ongoing with these next couple reads, which are available on Kindle Vella, which is Love on the Run by Goree-Bell. Like I said, this is the book, this is the Kindle Vella that connects to Lotus Flower. Not Lotus Flower. Yeah, Lotus Flower Bomb. And then I'm also ongoing through Kindle Vella reading Draft Pick Andrei by Darie McCoy. And I also picked up My Broken Bodyguard by Posey Parks, which is ongoing on Kindle Vella. So if you are interested in serial stories that come out, you know, once or twice a week, go check out Kindle Vella. Your authors may possibly have stories in there. They're so much fun. I am enjoying the ride. I want them faster in sometimes, you know, in some ways. So it does give that kind of itch, but at the same time, I'm loving getting these stories piece by piece. Okay, so I think that is all. I don't have anything else going on. Hope you guys like my hair. Hopefully you'll see this for a little while. It took me forever to put it in. These locks are wild. I like the look of it. I definitely am enjoying this look, but you know, it was a thing to do. I just released, or I will be releasing, a unboxing video of some packages that I received, so go check that one out as well. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Also, there is a feedback form down in the description box, so you guys can help me improve my channel. Follow me everywhere, my links are down there, and I will see you in another video. Thanks for watching.